both Democratic and Republican proposals for police reform. Let's discuss some of the things we can do to make our community safer. And a lot of it has to do with rerouting some of what we give the police now and give it to some of their, co-sponsors, the people who network with them, like social workers, mental health, and like not just sending police out there 24/7 and are alone. And we also are going to try to ban chokeholds, like especially when there's multiple officers. And like with George Floyd, he's already restrained, so their chokehold was more of a death grip. And no knock warrants. They are going to be stopped, at least in the Democratic proposal. That's what killed Breonna Taylor. That's what got a flashbang thrown in the wrong baby's crib in Georgia. Like, this does need to stop. And I do like the national database of bad cops. We've tried to do this before. Republicans have blocked it, but luckily Bunker Don got scared down in his little bunker and has done what the protesters are telling him to do, or at least pretending to. He does these things and then he doesn't actually, follow through because it's all show. He's only about, fake tans and he's just all show. And what's incredibly sad is to see him try to play politics and blame this on other administrations who did not advocate for the police to rough up suspects or pardon war criminals. Like, Donald Trump says he's a law and order president, but that's only a racist dog whistle. He calls the FBI deep state and bashes our military above instead of Russia's. Like, he is a traitor. And it's just sick to see him even try to pretend like it's about his Make America Great Again, like when he said it was the 50s. In the 50s, the middle class had about half the income. It wasn't us fighting over like 10%, 90% fighting over 10%. It was much better. That's what made America better back in the day. But he meant, and he's actually, fought everything that made our economy great back then, such as worker rights. We used to have labor unions, which are a lot different than police unions. In fact, police unions argue for like them being immune to like committing crimes, and regular unions never claim to be above the law. Like, the police unions are something that needs to be reformed, in my opinion. And we need to have better education. Like, it's not even a year degree for a police, badge. It should be like a 2 or 4 year degree, like most other countries. And like in most other countries, they don't carry these guns around everywhere. Like, it's not always necessary, and it actually escalates. And we need to practice de-escalation to begin with, because if you're calling the police and it only makes the situation worse, then what good were they? And we need to start making investments in our society. Like, the income disparity has a lot to do with the crime, as well as, not treating our medical and mental health problems, as well as our systemic societal problems, and a true culture of sanctity of life, not saying all lives matter when we talk about Black deaths, and not caring when you lock up, struggling refugees, or just, the mass incarceration we currently have. We have more incarcerated in America than anywhere else on earth. And we need to start spending just half that money on prevention rather than just reactionary and, trying to keep a class system. And just, for what Yang was for, like, tax the internet 1% at least to help it, help the local businesses compete, and then redistribute that money into something like the stimulus checks we just received. Like, it would be the bare minimum we could do. And Alaska does it for its citizens because there's oil under there. Like, America had a resource, it could at least, attempt to address some of these issues with intellect or compassion. Like, the judgmental model just puts off liability when it still affects the total cost. And we just need to start not letting the minister's veil or the badge just be this blanket immunity. Like, it's a job. Like, they should be held to a higher standard, actually, not a lower standard. And when we say defund the police, they're not talking about entirely, but they are talking about, having a different type of police force, social workers, mental health workers, community enablers, like, not just punishment, but investment in our community.